Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Another wild day in the markets, and the day isn't over yet. But basically, we're swinging with the headlines. We get a positive headline, we go up, we get a negative headline, we crash down. My message to you today is that, and this is a common message that I've been saying on this channel for a while, make sure you're distinguishing the signal from the noise. The signal, in the case of the markets, is going to be the liquidity levels. The noise is going to be the Donald Trump's tweets. Though that I can, even though he's the president of the United States, he flip flops so much on everything, and is very moody in his uh, policies, that you really have to just ignore it at this point and focus instead on the signal, which is the liquidity picture and what it's setting up to be in the near future, medium term, and longer term, and the economy and how that's doing. Now, we did get a number of headlines. We'll talk about those. If we're looking at the indices, they're basically almost flat. I'm going to say they were down a lot earlier in the day, and then they turned green, and now they're kind of flat. If you look at the Russell, it's up half a percentage point. The Nasdaq is up half a percentage point. The Dow Jones is down half a percentage point. The VIX is down 3%. We're all waiting for tomorrow's number, tomorrow's inflation number, and that will, I think, determine the trajectory that we end up on for the next few days and weeks. But I actually am optimistic. I think that we may have bottomed out, or very near bottomed out, where we are right now, and I do expect recovery. It may not be immediate, but towards the end of March, I do expect us to be on a completely different trajectory than where we are right now. Looking at some of the names that we like to talk about, Tesla recovered a bit, close to 5% today. Bitdeer is up close to 5%. I'll talk about Bitdeer in a second. Iris Energy is up 6.65%. Bitcoin's at 82, close to 83,000. Solana's at 126, up 7%. Doge is up 8% at 16 cents and 6/10. And some of the headlines that I was referring to: Ukraine agrees to a US-led ceasefire plan. This has jacked up the market. Now, this doesn't mean that Russia has accepted it yet, and it's only a 30-day ceasefire. So it's not the end of the war, but it does get the guns to stop shooting. And so, for 30 days, which heightens the chance of a deal being struck. Now, on the negative side, Trump raised Canada's steel aluminum tariffs to 50% in retaliation for what should be expected from Canada, which is that it is putting tariffs of its own on exports to the United States. So President Trump said he has ordered his administration to raise tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum imports by an additional 25%, bringing the total duties to 50%, almost making it impossible to do business. Trump said he was imposing the latest tariffs in response to a decision by Ontario's government to slap a 25% tax on electricity exports to the U.S., and he may declare a state of emergency with regards to electricity in the areas that are impacted. And all of this, what's really sort of, puzzling about all of this is that it could be easily avoided by just not engaging in this type of behavior, which with one of our closest allies in the world, which is Canada. Now, I do understand that Trump has this ambition to make Canada the 51st state in the United States, and that would certainly, cement his legacy as a U.S. president, at least in his mind, and perhaps, making the lives of Canadians tougher outside of the United States is his strategy to do so. But this is just alienating the Canadian people and making them hate the United States. So I don't think it's actually a smart strategy at all. It would have been much more wise if he wanted to make Canada part of the United States, is to do things that make the United that curry favor with the Canadians, that actually makes the Canadians like the United States. And what's odd is that Canadians did like Americans and did like the United States before a lot of this, and so there wasn't this tension before. So instead of building on that, he destroyed it, and now he wants to somehow capitalize on it, which is really weird. Now let's talk about Bitdeer. So Bitdeer is a company that we hold in our PIF portfolios, and it's one that I have been bullish on for a while. I've talked about it on the lives, and today I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going crazy here with my valuation for Bitdeer. So just sort of napkin math that I wanted to share with you guys. So actually, let me make sure this is. So I looked at, and typically I do a discounted cash flow valuation, but in the interest of time, we'll just look at the PE multiple. So the average forward PE that looks at the next 12 months for Bitdeer since its IPO has been around 70. Current PE is around 46, and the industry average is around 21. Obviously, the higher PE reflects the higher expected growth rate. Now, net income in 2050, so since we're looking at forward PE, I want to look at the net, so the next 12 months, I want to look at the net income in 2026, what I expect it to be, and the multiple of that will give me what I expect the market cap for the company to be. So net income 2026, around 250 million is what I expect it to be. And if you multiply that by, let's say, the average, since it's the highest number, the average forward PE, let's assume that's the bull case. Base case is the current PE and the industry average. Although you could argue that like right now, considering market sentiment, this is more of a bear case than it is a base case. But let's just say it's the base case is the current PE, the bear case is the industry average. If we multiply the net income by these multiples to figure out what price we should be at the end of the year, then we come to market caps of 17 billion, 11 billion, and 5 billion. Now, keep in mind the current market cap for this stock is around 2 billion. And this translates to share prices of 91, 60, and 27. By the way, keep in mind, Bitdeer is a company that, and it's probably the only Bitcoin mining company, or sort of Bitcoin mining company, because they make their own rigs. It's the only Bitcoin in that category company that has actually bought back shares. So that's I'm calculating the share price here based on no dilution. It's possible that we do get dilution, but it's possible that actually more share buybacks happen. So share price, assuming the number of shares remains the same, 91 in the bull case, 60 in the base case, 27 in the 27 in the bear case. And so you can see here the percentage upside here is quite generous. So now we still have to discount from December to here, so I'd probably discount at least 15%. And I try to go with the bear case, especially with the price targets that I share with PIF members. And so at 27 right now, we're trading hands at around $10. So I think there's at least a doubling here for Bitdeer, given its current price. Now, financial advice, just sharing with you my calculations. And by the way, if you'd like to follow our portfolios move for move, then make sure to take advantage of the Ramadan discount code that we have going on, 35% off. That's an amazing deal. You get access to our portfolio move for move. You get access to our watch list, buy and sell prices, PIF insights, and our community, and the list goes on and on. We're adding features all the time. So become a member if you aren't already. Would love to have you. So I do want to point out Bitcoin and where we are right now. This is what I would consider signal as opposed to noise. So the MVRV score, this has been a very reliable metric for when you can expect local bottoms, local tops for Bitcoin. And you can see that we're now approaching, in terms of the Z-score, where we had a local bottom recently, which was September of 2024, when we bottomed in the 50,000s, and then we shot up to north of 100,000. We're reaching that level on the MVRV Z-score. So, right now, in terms of Bitcoin's price, we are at 83,000. Some people say it's going to go lower 70s. Some people say maybe lower 60s. But make no mistake, the upside from here is far greater, I believe, than the downside. If you look at the stock to income model, then this has been a pretty reliable model. If you look at the green line, that's the Bitcoin price. If you look at the white line, that's what the model is projecting. If you look at, let's move this a bit here. I think we can get a bit more recent. All right. So March 1st, the actual the actual price was 86. The lower band here, based on this model, is 115,000. Projected price is 230. Upper band is 460. Now, yes, there's a lot of variation that happens vis-a-vis this model, but if you look at the green line, it has been hugging the white line for years now. So, I mean, it goes up, it goes down, but it's basically, in the same ballpark as this white line is. So that kind of gives you an idea of how undervalued we are. And I do believe that I've mentioned before the improving fundamentals for Bitcoin in terms of regulation, a more friendly SEC, the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, Sovereign Wealth Fund, all of the competition between corporations really enhances the fundamentals for this asset and makes this and these are things that don't necessarily come up in this model. And then finally, I'm going to leave with you this thought, which is that this comes from the user Barxis. I watched Bitcoin go from 69 to 15 and 73 to 48. Now we've gone from 109 to 77. Even if we go lower, nothing has fundamentally changed. We have all the positive news we could have ever hoped for. Now we just need the liquidity to drive prices higher, and I do believe that. And we'll get a lot of information about the liquidity picture tomorrow. I do actually expect it to be a bullish day in the markets tomorrow. I could be wrong. It's tough to predict day-to-day movement. If you haven't become a PIF member yet, do become a member. And I'm sorry I can't take your questions today. I do have to run, but leave your questions in the comments if you'd like me to address them tomorrow. All right, until tomorrow, inshallah, take care. Leave a like. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be upon you all.